energy drink sounds tasty.
Almost as tasty as you to watch that. You want to do the sound effect one more time? There we go.
I'm not really very good at whistling.
All right, well, we're going to move on then. How about to a report on something very important, friends? It's Chefgate. All right, yeah, last night, we've been waiting for it all week. It was the premiere episode of South Park's 10th season, The Return of Chef. And as you know, Isaac Hayes, who usually does the voice of Chef, he quit over concerns about religious intolerance. So he wasn't actually around to provide his voice talent. So instead, pretty clever, the South Park animators just used clips of him from old episodes, and then they raked him over the coals. Here's what went down in case you missed it. Chef joins the Super Adventure Club. Then Chef starts propositioning the children of South Park for sex.
Ouch.
Yeah, then a mob chases him to a suspension bridge. Chef falls off as the bridge spontaneously combusts. He gets mauled by a mountain lion, then a bear, and everybody in the Adventure Club shoots him as well. Then Chef is later revived by the Adventure Club as Darth Vader. So to recap, Hayes' character got killed 3 different ways, and they didn't even need him to do the voice. So I think it's suffice to say that Isaac Hayes, yeah, the dude got owned. It happens. Sorry, buddy. Although, to be fair, at his funeral, Kyle did say that we should be mad at Chef, but rather we should be mad at the fruity little club that scrambled his brain. I have no idea who they're talking about.
I don't know where they get these things. Those South Park kids just taking them out of thin air.
Some fruity club ruined their friend.
Yeah.
Happens. Oh, hey, we're taking your relationship calls today. That's right. The number is 800-839-7. You know, every once in a while, fresh ink just needs to get out for some fresh air. So we sent our comic book guru, Blair Butler, to Wizard World, Los Angeles, 2006, to frolic with the funny book fans.
We've been to comic book conventions all over the country, but Wizard World is different because it's in LA, and that means it's full of celebrities, or at least people who are celebrities to big nerds like me. Wizard World is also different because it's presented by Wizard Magazine. This is the biggest comic book magazine in the industry, and it's kind of like Playboy for nerds, except the centerfolds are men in really snug spandex. This is Mr. December. His name is Superman. His pet peeves include kryptonite and bald men who kill. Wizard World is mecca to the magazine's thousands of readers, and as we discovered, many of them dress a little differently. I noticed that you still have some machinery coming out of you. The lighting is surprisingly festive down there. Looks like Wolverine's having Christmas in his pants. Well, I like that you have like super bling.
Why, thank you.
Do you read Wizard Magazine?
Oh, yes, every month.
Do you read it for the articles or for the centerfold, if you know what I mean? You know, it's been a lifelong dream to appear on the cover of Wizard Magazine. I have no idea whose arm that is. The best part of any comic book convention? The comic industry's biggest names are ready and available to speak to the lowly and often annoying fans like me. All right, I am here with Damon Lindelof, co-creator and executive producer of Lost, and more recently, author of Ultimate Wolverine vs. Hulk. First question I have to ask you, how did you come up with the great Hulk ripping Wolverine in half?
As soon as Joe Quesada said they wanted to do an Ultimate book that was called Hulk vs. Wolverine, I said, can I rip him in half?
What's the craziest Lost theory you've heard so far?
My mother thinks that all of this is happening inside the dog's head.
Does it feel good to finally have the legitimacy of comic book writing?
I must admit, the pathetic glee that I have in sitting in a booth like this and signing a comic book that I've written is much more exciting than the show. But don't tell anyone. I mean, I know we're standing in front of the camera.
I'm here with Brian Posehn. He's been on Mr. Show, Comedians of Comedy, and now he is the co-author of a new comic, The Last Christmas. Can you tell us a bit about it?
It's a funny book where the apocalypse happens and Santa Claus is alive, and he starts to deliver toys to kids that still believe in him.
Is there anything that you want to say to all the big nerdy fans?
Keep playing games and keep buying comic books and start masturbating less.
The great thing about LA is that sometimes you run into celebrities who are just trying to escape the building. What was the allure for you to do the comics? I know you'd done Frey for Dark Horse and a lot of the Angel and Buffy stuff for Dark Horse. What brought you over to Marvel?
I grew up on Marvel as much as anything in the world. X-Men is where I learned to write, so there was no way I couldn't take that job.
And up next for you is the Wonder Woman movie. How's that going?
I just finished the script, and so they'll tell me how it's going.
Can we get any casting tidbits?
It'll be a woman.
It's been a great day at Wizard World LA, and looking back on it, I realize that I'm the shortest freaking person here.
I don't know, were you shorter than Joss Whedon as well, or?
No, I mean, you know, a little bit shorter, yeah.
Now,
yeah.
did you literally just run into him outside and said, hey, I want to talk to you, and he was cool with it?
Yeah, he was totally cool. He's a very gracious guy and
Awesome.
working on a lot of upcoming projects. Wonder Woman played by a woman, not surprisingly.
Very important.
Yeah.
You know, you went and had a ton of fun, but the
Right.
question that I always ask is, did you bring me back anything?
I did. I brought back Daredevil. This is Daredevil number 83. I'm bending the spine right now, so
That's okay.
a nerd
That's okay.
faux pas.
So now, when they make a comic out of a movie, you know, featuring Ben Affleck, do they do it in his presence? Because he was amazing in that. I didn't know they did this into a comic.
Listen, forget all about the movie. The reason that I brought this issue along is because this series has had a major reboot recently, and Daredevil is in jail. He's in prison.
Yes.
It's a new storyline. It's done by Ed Brubaker and Michael Ark, and Brian Michael Bendis sort of wrote this character into a corner. And it's a great corner, and these guys have really picked up the ball and started running with it, and it's a cool storyline. And it's like he's in prison with all his enemies, and he's got to fight to stay alive. And it's just really good stuff, and there's also someone pretending to be Daredevil right now. And it also killed off one of the biggest characters in the Daredevil series, Foggy Nelson. He's dead, and it's all Daredevil's fault.
Now, well, what's the verdict on this one? I mean, I liked it. It was kind of gritty, and
Yeah.
it's definitely, it seems like they're trying to kind of reclaim the Daredevil character.
Right.
But what is your take?
I say it's a buy. I think this is really cool if you're sort of new to Daredevil or if you didn't really enjoy the Bendis stuff. This is sort of a new chapter. It's really exciting, and I'm a big fan of it, so I say buy.
Okay, can I take it from you now, Blair?
Yes.
Please?
Don't bend it too much.
I won't, I promise. Thank you very much for coming on and for
You're
bringing me the Daredevil. Everybody, still on the way, the NCAA tournament.
Unbelievable. Go, baby, go.
Yeah, you know, for any male born between the 1970s and this afternoon, one toy property and one toy property alone stands head, shoulders, and kung fu grip above the rest. Of course, talking about G.I. Joe, and here to return us to our backyard battlefields is Brian Savage, the director of the G.I. Joe Collectors Club. Brian, welcome to Attack of the Show.
Glad to be here, Kevin.
There is some attacking going on. We'll get to it in a second.
Okay.
I have to ask, like, what is the deal with G.I. Joe? I mean, it is so popular. Is it because of the kung fu grip, or is it just because of the nostalgia factor at this point?
Well, G.I. Joe, first of all, has been a great toy for over 40 years.
Sure.
And it means a lot of things to a lot of different people because he's been tried to change with each generation to be relevant to pop culture and what's going on that day and time. So it's a little bit of everything. It's the persona, it's the characters, and it's all really about the toys.
Yeah, and for my mother, it meant stepping on giant green plastic missiles.
Or
all over
taking
the
them
house
out of the
yelling.
vacuum cleaner.
Exactly. She hated both of them. I mean, now how has G.I. Joe evolved? Because it has been around so long. And so, like, what we've got here, this is a replica of one of the originals, right?
Yeah, that's from 1964. G.I. Joe started in the 12-inch size. And like I said, the great thing about him, he's changed for every generation. So the kids of that time really dig him. You know, then he went to what you see here in the 80s,
Sure.
in the Real American Hero. And then today, what you've got now is an 8-inch Sigma 6 figure. And this is currently what's on the retail store shelves.
So now, what point did they add the little rubber band in the stomach where you could yank it in half and make it look like
that's
you
an
got...
O-ring, Kevin, not a rubber band.
I bet it is.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, the O-ring was the perfect part to snap it and made it look like, you know, the guy got cut in half and you pour a little ketchup on the battlefield.
Absolutely.
And got a bloody scene. I love it. Now, you don't collect these things. I mean, you create them as well, right?
That is correct. We create them as well. Matter of fact, there's for the convention each year we create items. For the club, we create exclusives. Like these two pieces here, these mechs. These are from a convention last year. And do you know who this guy is here?
I had a giant rubber version of him from my WWF ring back in the day.
Sergeant Slaughter,
Yeah.
4-time World Wrestling Champion. And it's not going to look exactly like this, but we're making a figure of him for our convention coming up in New Orleans this summer.
Now, are you just doing this because you can as fans and they give you permission to, or do you have like creative license to really use their properties and create, you know, G.I. Joes of your own?
We have creative license. We're under license for Hasbro for not only for the club, but for anything that we produce. So
that's great.
They have to approve everything, but they, you know, we get to kind of pick and choose what we want to do.
And so these one-offs are kind of the collectible items then for the conventions. And so their value must be huge then, right?
Well, it changes, you know, it depends on what the popularity, but sometimes they go way up, sometimes they stay about where they are, but, you know, I've been asked, can you tell me what's going to be valuable in the future? And I say, well, you know, got to have a crystal ball for that, so you never know.
Of course. Well, now, I mean, I'm looking at this battlefield here, and I remember the commercials of the kids busting the tank through the bricks, and it's like, oh, got to get the Cobra Command Center, and then you put it at the top of the stairs, and Mom's vacuuming in the background, and it's like, you know, the chopper flying out of the bathroom is not as cool as it is on those commercials. You guys are recreating entire battlefields. Is this just to show off the collection, or is this for something that you bring for shows for like judging and stuff?
Well, when we do the conventions, we do have contests. Not only do we do giant displays of convention figures, but we have contests and people build their own dioramas. It's kind of part of G.I. Joe. Again, some people like the modeling aspect. They want to take that O-ring and change the legs and change the arms. And others, you know, just want the toys like they are, while others like the cartoon and the comic book. So it's a little bit about everything.
Yeah, there's something for everybody. What do we have on display here?
Well,
like, take me through, like, maybe some...
Well, what we've got here is pretty much all this stuff's been made in the last 5 years. A couple pieces a little older. But this is Cobra Mountain. He's being guarded by 2 convention mechs here. There's some Iron Grenadiers. These guys were from a convention set here. And then we have a Crimson tank in the center.
Now, this is the same shell that they've used for other tanks, right?
Right. And they like to do that a lot. They'll take a vehicle that was a Joe vehicle, redeco it, spiffy it up, and make it a Cobra vehicle. You know, because Cobra always gets the neat uniforms. You know, they win the uniform war all the time. Of course.
I just want to push this thing and make little room sound effects, but I'll stop myself.
Okay.
Finally, what do we have on the end here? This looks much more modern.
Right. This is a little more modern. These are Joe vehicles. Over here, we've got a Rhino Transport and a Humvee. And again, you know, sometimes the vehicles are interchangeable from each side, but that's the great thing is you can redeco it, you can make it look different, and it's then totally something else.
Well, Brian, I completely understand the fascination that everybody has. I still love it. I know you love it as well. Thank you for coming on and sharing it all with us.
All right,
I really appreciate it. Everybody, we are giving away a bunch of G.I. Joe loot to the lucky folks in the chat room and the G.I. Joe Collectors Convention. It happens in New Orleans, June 29th through July 2nd, and for more information on that, you can visit GIJoeClub.com. But stick around, because after the break, if it's breaking news, we'll have it in the feed. And Jimmy the Geek brings us picks for the NCAA Final Four. You don't want to miss it. Stay tuned.
We're saved, guys. It's the Cow Cavalry.
We thought you were done for. If you had to play cowboys and cobras, couldn't you have done it on horses?
Very hilarious. But when we hit the Pyramid of Darkness, we had to improvise. Do us a favor, Wild Bill. Milk our ponies and bring us a glass.
Huh? Classy.
Think it makes me look...
As we quickly recap the company's major announcements from the Game Developers Conference yesterday. Sony Computer Entertainment Vice President Phil Harrison said the new console will offer full backwards compatibility with PlayStation 2 games and support region-free play. Harrison promised a new controller designed by May, most likely at E3, and gave a short demo of the God of War sequel for the PS2. Yes, the PS2. Meanwhile, Sony's Shadow of the Colossus won the best...
...turn of the only sports handicapper in the world who uses video games to gather his data. Joining us live from Indianapolis, the home of the Final Four, ladies and gentlemen, Jimmy the Geek. Jimmy, how are you?
Been a long week, Brandy. I feel like I've been ridden hard and put up wet.
Well, now that's just disturbing. Jimmy, it seems that so far you've had some hits and some misses.
Yeah, Brandy, a little advice from Jimmy the stockbroker. When your IQ hits 50, you should totally sell, baby. But to your point, as predicted, Tennessee and Syracuse went away so gently that Dylan Thomas would have drank himself to death. Again! And that's the good news. As for the bad, those mid-majors are freaking killing me, baby. If I had a nickel for every single white trash, redneck, hick college that had a team event this week, I'd buy my 10-year-old that kidney she's been bitching about needing. Wholesale, baby.
I see. Jimmy, why don't we just move on to what you got for us this week?
All right, Brandy. Brackets are nice for the kids who go to school in the outside trailer. You know the kids I'm talking about. But I'm a bookie, and this is betting, and we're using lines, baby. Starting off with George Mason and Wichita State in a battle of Cinderellas that spells catfight, baby. GM beat Michigan State and North Carolina, and believe me, they will show Wichita State a good time in the backseat of the car. End of discussion, baby. Take George Mason, giving 2 points to the Shockers. It's a soft line, and it's my, but baby, this is how I cuddle special of the week.
George Mason to the Great Eight. What else you got, Jimmy?
All right, West Virginia playing Texas, Brandy. 2 evenly matched teams from states that make New Jersey look like Shangri-La freaking Law. Look for a close game here, and that's music to Geek's wallet. West Virginia's getting a big 5, and that's way too much to pass up. It's my happy anniversary, Uncle Dad, special of the week.
Quick, to the point, and insulting. Vintage Jimmy. What else you got, buddy?
All right, Gonzaga versus UCLA, baby. Everyone has a thing for this Adam Morrison kid, not the Geek. My research shows that the last time I saw a mustache that ugly, some Greek stripper was trying to go after my last dollar. I kicked her to the curb. UCLA does the exact same thing to the Zags. Take UCLA, given 3 points. It's my, you got some dirt on your upper lip there, special of the week.
Okay, Jimmy, and finally, what teams can the folks at home expect to see in the Final Four?
All right, read 'em and weep, babe. Duke burns down Atlanta, Sherman style. Memphis becomes the only good thing ever to come out of Oakland. Connecticut steals the D.C. bracket like it's a laptop. And Boston College emerges from the city of the waters.
Jimmy, a job well done. By the way, how is Indianapolis treating you?
Yeah, treat me like a somebody, Brandy. Treat me like a somebody. Scored a game winner of my own last night with a cheerleader from Indiana. She was a real doll, baby. Body by Mattel, brains by Fisher-Price. Just the way Jimmy likes them.
Jimmy, good luck this week. That is Jimmy the Geek live from Indianapolis. Now, stay put. We've got a live performance by...
Considered it part of our mission to expand your knowledge of the social and natural sciences.
At least that's what we told Customs when they asked us why we needed all those painkillers and howler monkeys.
That was a fun barbecue.
Oh, it sure was.
Yeah.
Well, now that the Department of Homeland Security has decided to get up all in our grill about our nonprofit status, we are obliged to have some informational content.
Please enjoy this educational nature film.
Hello, and welcome to X-Play's Wildlife and Kingdom. We go to the native habitat of larpers to discover what these mysterious creatures are all about. As always, I'm your host, Never Flavian. Now what you may be thinking, what is a larper? Mythical creatures fill their ranks.
Attack the master!
Creatures of the night, their growing numbers pose a threat to the habitat. In the history of mankind, war has been the great equalizer. It's no different for a larper. One stray spell or missed sword swipe can mean resurrection from the circle of power. In today's episode, we examine hand-to-hand combat in this most desperate survival of the fittest. It's morning. While a young larpling basks in the aurora, trouble is afoot.
It's making growling noises, and it's like made of some sort of yellow metal.
Nice. The group has stumbled onto a veritable hornet's nest of invisible danger.
Over there, 2 small live spiders that look like they're moving around very fast.
Their thirst for blood, unquenchable.
I curse you with destruction!
The war cry, undeniable.
Obviously, these guys need a taste of some medicine. Go get them, boys.
But do not be fooled. These creatures are also at home, shrouded in the darkness of night. On this night, the dreaded Mudmen have forged an attack. There is unrest among the group concerning their origin.
Doesn't there need to be a mud patch? Well, when they push the groundwater up, there's a mud patch. Okay. Well, you got me.
Others ponder if the Mudmen are just the beginning.
I mean, we've got creatures flying up on the deck.
With so many factions angling for power, skirmishes can break out almost anywhere, at any time. All races of LARPers must always be at the ready. Let's take a look. As I was saying, they must be ready just about anywhere and any time. I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. LARPers must always be on guard. Sensing the end is near, LARPers will swarm like piranha. These bloodthirsty heathens will stop at nothing to manifest their rage on the weekend. When the battle ends, the bounty must be split. Who gets the gold? Who gets the weapons? Because I'll be taking the women. Splitting the spoils of war is never an easy thing. And with the LARPer, it can be personal.
Where's the dagger? Right here, it's right here, it's right here. Give me the dagger. Thank you.
You are in contempt if you do not regroup now!
Thank you for watching this exciting episode of X-Play's Wild Laughing Kingdom. Until next time, I'm Never Flaky. Pull!
If you'd like to learn more about wild LARPers, please visit our website. And you'll also find some fun recipes.
Thankfully, New York is also a hotbed of urban violence, an issue that may have come up in a few open-world shooters in the past.
And the gaming industry, never frightened of repeating itself, has given us yet another. Here's our review of true crime streets of New York.
Turn them off music up.
Hey, cool thing. You here to liberate us from bad game mechanics, pogoing cameras, lousy car physics, and questionable targeting? Well, are you? Not so much. With True Crime Streets of New York, the title departs Los Angeles, flies over the subsidized states, and lands smack and crack dab in the midsection of Mistress Manhattan. You'll feel like you've actually landed in the New York of Taxi Driver and Midnight Cowboy. This city's got more trash than a John Waters movie. You'll spring to gaming life as Marcus Reed, a warrior chiseled and honed by the tools of thug life. Turns out Mr. Marcus keeps some pretty stellar company. His black dad, for example, is Lawrence Fishburne.
Life's full of ironies.
His white dad is Mickey Rourke.
Marcus, I helped raise you.
He ends up in league with Christopher Walken.
It sounds like you've got the case figured out.
True Crime's New York is stuffed like a sack full of cats with gaming diversion, timed races, moonlighting, skill-improving training dojos, and hurdles. Hurdles? Repeat playability is definitely a noteworthy element of the title. Bitch! Manhattan is a city of interiors, and the same is true with the game. Once you apply pressure to the grim facade of another building, you'll access a staggering variety of atmospheric Wunderkammers. Like this drugstore.
How you doing?
King, go, below, The story element is involving and populated with a predictable gaggle of drug-dealing goons. Okay, maybe that's not predictable. A female social working drug czar shooting fireballs from a Viking ship on a stage? We really didn't see that one coming. The game seems to hate everybody but white and black people. Let's go through a checklist, shall we? Gay people?
I didn't know the Viking guard.
Check. Italian Americans?
Capiche?
Check. Latinos?
I'm surrounded by useless people!
Check. Stereotypes, the grim jail of social evolution.
What you need, man? 10 bag, 20 sack, or ounce?
The targeting system is much improved from its Streets of LA counterpart. Your gun seems to sniff out the deserving of ballistic perforation with the speed of a cadaver-sniffing canine. But the title still retains much of Streets of LA's bad game genetics. Fight routines, arresting people, and driving had abysmal moments, delivering vein-throbbing, brain-screaming epiphanies of frustration. The streets of New York, at the end of the day, will feel like GTA with a better story. There's still way too many bugs stinging the skin of perfection to warrant our unvarnished praise. With the thud of a slug into the already dead, we give it a 3. King, go! Below 5! Out of 5.
Damn, these true crime games are starting to multiply like CSI shows.
Why doesn't everyone at home make up their own True Crime Streets of Omaha joke?
I just made up one in my head and set it on cattle wrestling.
Mine was about insurance fraud.
Oh. Why is it crime shooters are so full of gross ethnic stereotypes?
Because, you know, so is New York.
What?
Is it? I just, you know, pissed off 11 million people.
Yeah. Game.
Preach!
I watched violent movies.
Testify!
I flirted with detestable ways of life that are repugnant to our Lord's teaching.
She drove a Volvo.
But then I saw a movie that got me on the path to accepting the Lord into my heart.
Bird on a wire.
The filmmaker whose movies did so much to bring my heart to God is about to release a new movie.
We'd like to share a trailer for it with you.
Father, why have you forsaken them? I guess that's me. Do it!
Well, well, well. Congratulations, you're alive.
You ever ask yourself, what would Jesus do? You're gonna find out. You know, when I was a little kid, they told me I was gonna be special. You know what it's like living with that kind of weight? You're supposed to save the sins of humanity. Well, guess what? Change of plans. Sorry, Jesus. Sorry? Huh? You sorry? You remember me now, Peter? You remember me now?
There's a bomb planted in one of the city's 300 temples.
Judas, this isn't a game. Tell me where the bombs are at.
You have 20 minutes to meet my demands.
I'll tear this temple apart piece by piece. You hear me? Piece by piece.
You don't understand. He's gonna ride you until he breaks you, and then he's gonna kill you.
You don't understand. I'm here to judge the living and the dead.
Jesus, I'm sorry for my sins.
I believe you want my father.
Where are you?
Look to the heavens.
Goodbye.
Jesus!
Do you think I can't handle this? Shut up. Shut up, Jesus. I'm the one in control here.
Goodbye, Jesus. Besides, I have a backup plan.
Don't you touch my daughter.
Why?
Jesus, you killed him.
I'm alive! I'm alive!
The liberal media leftocracy have done so much to keep Jesus out of the movies.
You know, look how powerful it can be to have Jesus in a film. I'd like to see him in more movies.
Maybe a nice romantic comedy. I'd love to see Jesus fall in love with that love.
Thank you, Adam. I'm here with a huge spoiler.
Remember, times
Racket!
past.
Come on, bark like a dog.
Ow! Ow! Too much!
I still don't know what's going on. Date a fish. It's game time. They love bread bowl clam chowder. It's Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb.
Except for the bread bowl.
I love the bread bowl.
That's you.
Welcome to X-Play.
Since we moved to Los Angeles a year and change ago, people on the forums have been complaining.
You guys have been saying X-Play isn't good anymore. You may be right.
But still, screw you.
Screw you indeed.
But nostalgia has a funny way of convincing people that old things are good.
Like when people talk about the 50s like they were some time of innocence and peace.
Which they were if you consider sicking dogs and civil rights activists and shooting Koreans peace and innocence.
Also, ponchos. Ponchos aren't a kicky homage to the 70s. They are a disease.
So today we will turn our eyes back to the history of X-Play and remind you just how much stuff sucks in San Francisco.
Also, we will tell fascinating personal anecdotes after the fashion of Bravo TV's Inside the Actors Studio.
My favorite word is Eureka.
My favorite sound is the lamentations of my enemies.
So let's start by looking back at the very first field trip X-Play ever took.
3 long years ago, back when America was still in love with the milkshake song and Martha had yet to spend a single day in jail, Adam went to the hills outside Las Vegas to spend some time with live-action role players.
This is my story. The nature. Trees, the clean air, the silence, the nights, the elves, fighting together. There's something serious happening here, and I'm gonna find out what's going on.
Paradise!
I'm Caleb Durst. I'm a SAR, half feline, half human, basically. I'm Midnight the Half-Orc, protector of Ecclesia.
What's going on?
There's a murder, attempted murder committed a week ago.
What's going on?
Ah, my friend, when you deal with nobles, everything goes much more out of proportion than it should be.
So what's going on exactly?
This man has attempted murder on a Blood Talon and an Earth Coalition member.
I still don't know what's going on. Apparently, somebody has annoyed somebody else here. That much I know is going on.
Okay. Arrest him! Too magic, too magic, too magic!
Does it have a wall of power around it? Oh, then no, you don't have a battle arena.
What exactly is going on right here?
Right now, what happened is some hill giants, which are very tall. One of our friends, our half-orc, Midnight, the leader of our Earth Coalition, Thurgus, he got into an honorable combat. The mediator for as well as the hill giant.
All right, you a Niners fan?
I do. Yes, I am.
Yeah, I saw that Mariucci thing coming from a mile away. How about you?
I don't know.
We're gonna do this by the numbers, everyone. The fighters are gonna be up front. We want casters backpacking the fighters. Who has life spells here? Raise your hand.
Onwards to victory!
Seems the battle has begun. No matter how many times you see this, you really just can't get used to just the gravity of the carnage.
All right, come on, get the wood over here.
Just want to double check about why you have to burn the trolls after you kill them.
They regenerate. So if they burn them, they can't regenerate.
You never know when you're going to get hit with a death spell or something bad.
Right.
So you might as well enjoy what life you've got while you've got it.
You know? Oh, that's a very simple and beautiful philosophy, especially from a rat.
Another day of justice served.
It's the end of the day, and like all good warriors, it's time to go home. I've seen some orcs, I've seen some knights, I've seen some stuff I'm not going to forget anytime soon. Now, I know that guy said he was okay and kind of raised his arm.
Yeah.
He actually was injured, but we like to, spin things more positively. But more importantly, it was really cold out there.
It didn't look very warm.
No, the snow kind of gives that away. Also,
Right.
my soles on my shoes. When they say Vegas, you think desert, you think hot, you think I'm not wearing a shirt and I'm drunk. Anyway, we here at X-Play have reviewed all types of games.
Yeah, from World War II shooters to, World War II strategy games. We've seen them all.
But a particular subset of games that have always fascinated us were the extreme sports games.
In our review of Wakeboarding Unleashed, we asked the question, what's next? Extreme walking? Here's a clip. mail about this piece.
Yes,
This
we
is
did.
why we're bringing it up, but you know, we got mail asking how you can get involved in extreme walking. Kids wanted to know, that looks so awesome. How do we get involved? And we're
We
like,
actually have advice for
you
that.
put on a tracksuit and
Leave the house and walk kind of fast somewhere. What's more frightening is that extreme walking does exist.
It does exist.
I guess it's a sport. I don't know where it's practiced. I guess there are like stealth extreme walkers, and those are the people that are getting somewhere quickly. We have also, over the years, developed some pet peeves about games.
yes, excessive load times, bad voice acting, I hate that, and cutscenes you can't skip.
But a particular place in our hearts is set aside for the bad camera angles.
Here's a piece we did in tribute to the bad camera angles and pre-rendered environments in the Resident Evil games.
Submitted for your approval, Adam Sessler, host of Tech TV's X-Play, arrives at work to find the entire office is now pre-rendered. Adam forgets the first rule of bad camera work. All threats are off screen. Little does Adam know that when the camera changes, all bets are off. Not being a key item, the fudge is pre-rendered and unobtainable. This, then, is the last straw for Mr. Sessler.
You know, with all the changes that we've endured, one thing holds true. All low-rent cable stations have identical backs.
Yes, they do.
Yes.
And you know this at home because we always shoot in the bathroom.
Actually, we just left the camera right there. No, we haven't. We haven't done anything like that. And just so I'm not the only one who looks stupid on this show, why don't we take a look at that time Morgan dressed up like Ooh La La.
Oh, the bracket! My God, what is she dressed as?
I think she's supposed to be RuPaul.
Ah, that's it. That's it.
No, I was just acting. It was really nice.
Thanks. Yeah, if I didn't love La La so much, I'd be much more embarrassed about that. You notice the skirt I wore was backwards because it didn't fit. It was a size 2, and so I had to wear it backwards because I borrowed it from my roommate.
I thought skirts were kind of like hula things, and it doesn't, there was no front or back, so it's like
You
a
don't know
circle.
anything about women, do you?
Oh, that's so awesome. I don't.
We've got so much more to show you in our glorious tribute to the craptastic history of X-Play, and later on in the show, we'll reveal the worst outfits Adam and I have ever worn on camera. Worse than that. Stick around.
Worse?
Yep.
Treat. It's Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb.
Welcome back to X-Play. We're taking an awkward, slightly embarrassing look at X-Play's past.
Don't let VH1 fool you with their "we love the 80s" and wasn't last week a hoot. Nostalgia literally means the pain of coming home.
And for us, it's coming home to game reviews with shoddier production values than most high school productions of Godspell.
For instance, the review that gave us the name for our worst game awards, the Golden Mullet.
Morgan is, of course, referring to our review of the worst game of all time, Aquaman. This is Aquaman. Doesn't look like Aquaman to me. This is Aquaman. You know, the Luke Skywalker boyishness, the tasteful scaly orange mixed with the industrial green of his gloves. This guy, he's got a blonde mullet and a claw hand. What happened? A horrible disaster at a Skinner concert? Now, if you think the fish man looks bad, check out the game. You swim and you fight. Swim more, then fight. That's it, and it still barely works. Reminds me of another famous superhero game, the abominable Superman 64. Looks like the Man of Steel's got a buddy. Now, we all know that Aquaman's superpower is that he can talk to fish. Look what happens when the concentric circles come out of his head in the game. Oh yeah, that's exciting. Well, I'm not gonna let some stupid game prevent me from a decent Piscean human discourse. Meet Slippy. He's my new buddy that I took around my hometown. Slippy and me became fast friends. He loved the view. Which is more than I can say for the graphics in Aquaman. The word I like to use is dull. The only effort seems to have been put into Aquaman's golden, flowing mullet. And these are what pass for cutscenes. Comic book panels without sound. But you can add your own.
Arthur, you must stop him. You cannot allow this man to continue to attack Atlantis or us.
He will not of that. You can be sure. Slippy and I had far better conversations. We talked about his life in the ocean and even called some family. As I said before, virtually all you do in Aquaman is fight bad guys. Sometimes to deactivate bombs, and other times to rescue these Tom of Finland rejects. You'd expect then that the combat might be half decent at least. This is the highlight. The controls are mushy, and some combos require an absurd amount of memorization. Not that it matters. Just hit some buttons, move on, hit some buttons. Speaking of fun, Slippy and I were having a blast until we went to the wrong part of town. After that, he started to act surly. I think he had too much water.
No.
Aquaman is one of the worst games to come out this year. It has just enough elements to qualify as a game and no more. There is not one interesting aspect of this title to even warrant a rental. Aquaman, the fight for Atlantis, sleeps with the fishes. A 1 out of 5. Oh, and Slippy, well, he made some comment about my hair. I made a comment about deep fat fries and big appetites. Amazing. Such a bad game to make for such a great day.
We've actually had some people write in wanting to do their own fish pieces. Yeah, there's some important things you need to know. When you get the fish, you have 2 hours. And that's actually in the overcast San Francisco weather, so if it's a normal summer day.
Yeah. It was a real fish. People want to know if it was a real... Yeah, real fish.
I had scales in my hand. I felt like Aquaman. See, X-Play's always been pretty bad.
Yeah.
And we've got more clips to prove it. When? After the break.
After the break. And again, at the end of the show, we'll reveal the most hideous clothes Adam and I have ever worn. It will be embarrassing.
So why are you telling them to keep watching?
It's cable cars. It's Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb.
Not so much.
Not really. Welcome back. You know, X-Play isn't about parody sketches and wiener jokes.
It's not.
No. It's about games. And as gaming critics, you never know quite what you're going to find in a game.
Here's a classic review of one of our most surprising games, Lifeline.
Our nation's economy will rebound from this, our first space station developed entirely on our own.
This is the run-of-the-mill survival horror beginning to Lifeline. You've got to rescue people,
That idiot.
solve the mystery, and fight things. But this time, you're trapped in a control room. This is the game's twist. See, this little honey in the unfortunate apparel, you get to tell her what to do using the PS2 headset.
Finally, my efforts pay off.
More or less, you're taking the awkward text-based commands of King's Quest and get to talk to the game like an idiot.
Hello?
Let's take a look.
Hey.
Are you talking about this?
Yes, Frank.
So I should run.
No,
Okay.
don't run. Don't run, don't run. Stop. No, don't run. Shh, stop. Guest room 1.
Guest room 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
Way to go. Yeah, just stroll. Take your time. There's no monsters anywhere. Trunk.
Yes.
No, trunk.
I am walking.
I don't want you to walk. Trunk.
I am walking.
Trunk. Uh-huh. Camera.
Hello?
Camera.
It's just an antique.
Do as I tell you.
Can you at least try to be serious?
Mirror.
So I should run?
No.
Okay.
No. What are you doing? Oh, you're really, really, really stupid. Wow.
See, the voice recognition technology isn't, what's the word, good.
I'm listening.
Oh.
And that's before we've looked at combat. Let's check in.
Get up. Body.
Maybe my aim is bad.
Yeah, your aim is bad. Red eye. not the chair. Red eye. Run right.
Isn't there a better target?
Yes, your head.
Yep, pretty much the crux of the game doesn't function right, which unfortunately sinks the game right along with it.
Hit the target. No, head.
You can give him credit for taking a chance, but it doesn't pan out.
Come on, bark like a dog.
Middle dog? Arf! Arf! Or big dog? Woof, woof.
Well, sometimes. My fantasies notwithstanding, a 2 out of 5.
Big dog.
Forget it. There's no point in sitting down.
We got a lot of mail about this, this little segment,
Barking
too.
like a dog. Yeah, a lot of people didn't believe that it was for real because it does sound different. That's because it was an Easter egg, and they didn't give it the whole audio polish.
People thought I did it.
Yeah, they thought you did it. Yeah, it was the lack of audio polish, as you can see in many of our own pieces that we showed you
And we
today.
could never get it to do it again. Now, everything we do on TV, we do for you, the viewers, to piss you off.
Like when you complained the show wasn't serious enough. So we did this April Fool's show on the set of our new show, Tech Live.
Welcome back to your gaming news leader, Eyewitness X-Play.
Welcome back to Eyewitness X-Play. We're joined with breaking news by Morgan Webb on location in San Francisco, California. Morgan.
Thank you, Adam. I'm here with a huge spoiler. We're going to show you the ending of a cult hit released in 2001. It was originally supposed to be a children's game. Stop doing that.
TV magic. I'm here.
I'm here. Here's our spoiler theater expose on Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Tonight, we leave you with an explosive gaming news headlines from around the globe.
Halo 2 is coming out at some point.
Dragon Ball Budokai, still bad.
Is this our new format, or are we yanking your chain?
That's all for us. Thank you, and have a great day. I'm so glad this is over.
Adam, we're still live. Adam? We're still on the air.
Yeah, people thought we were serious. We were actually going to change our format to a new show. We got a disturbing amount of happy mail.
Yes, some of you guys out there, wow, what's wrong with you? Read a book, go to the doctor, think.
We're never serious, just so you know. All right, after the break, Adam and I in really, really bad outfits. Don't we?
Worse than me naked.
It's Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb.
Where was promptly shot.
Welcome back to X-Play. We're looking back at the sad little history of our TV show.
Nothing has meant more to us than the really bad outfits we've had the chance to wear.
And here are the very worst from our 80s retro game show.
Ooh.
Oh, welcome back to X-Play, the show that's giving the facts of life a run for its money in select markets.
That means some people like us more than Tootie and Blair and Cousin Jerry combined.
Hey guys, do you ever get embarrassed when the girl is like, oh my god, is that a roll of quarters in your pocket, or are you just some kind of pervert?
Well, tell those girls that you don't need them anyway, because you have a nice, warm arcade cabinet of Midway Spy Hunter to cuddle up with at night. That thing rocks harder than REO Speedwagon and a mouthful of Pop Rocks.
But no, seriously though, don't throw all those things with the new Coke, because that's how Mikey from the Life Cereal commercial died.
Here's a look at the best Midway has to offer. Yeah!
Nice hair.
It's good having some.
You also do that very well.
Yeah. It's kind of scary since I didn't listen to that music. I think it's just my soul trying to escape.
You know that accent? It's the only accent I can do.
Where did you get that dress?
I borrowed it from my roommate. Like, I got everything I wore.